Okay. So this deck is an oldie but a goodie. It is a deck that was brought into existence with one of the first historic anthologies in Treasure Hunt being added to the format. This is a 2-mana blue sorcery here. It says reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a non-land card, but all the cards revealed this way into your hand. So Zenith Flare is a card that people that have been playing other formats are no stranger to. Zenith Flare deals X damage to any target. You gain X life, where X is the number of cycling cards in your graveyard. So what this deck is looking to do is you mulligan aggressively as low as 1 card for Treasure Hunt in your opener. And then you cast Treasure Hunt, and you flip through a bunch of cards into your deck and either get another Treasure Hunt or a Zenith Flare. And then at end of turn, you discard a bunch of cards to hand size, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 40 lands with cycling here. So you draw through a bunch of your deck with Treasure Hunt, discard a bunch of cycling lands to hand size, and then cast a giant Zenith Flare. This deck is soft to disruption. You're weak to discard spells, Thoughtseize especially. You do have a little bit of counterplay against these. You'll note that we play a bunch of islands in this deck for Mystic Sanctuary here, so we can re-put Treasure Hunt or a Zenith Flare back on top of our deck. So, yeah. One thing I think I'm going to change here to start is this, I think, is no longer the optimal companion. I'm going to go ahead and... I guess I would say I could swap to Wellspring, but then our sideboard plan's so good. We have an adorable sideboard plan here. We've got 4 Nullhide Ferox and 4 Shifting Ceratops for counterspell and discard matchups. So you could play Wellspring in the main deck to kind of punk what deck you're playing, but this is this works better with these, so I'm gonna leave it. Let's go ahead and dive on into a few games and see how this goes here. I believe I corrected the wrong category issue. We're still in the wrong category. Double check. We look to be in the right game category now. Hey, thanks for the 2 years, Fancy Penguin. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, so like the Nullhide Feroxes are especially funny in the sideboards because Thoughtseize decks will often mulligan to Thoughtseize against you, and rightfully so. So what you do is you just like mulligan to your Nullhide Ferox as your only spell, then they Thoughtseize you and you get a turn 1 6/6. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the long term. Alright, I think we play this out and hope to hit an untapped land to play Treasure Hunt with here. NRG is a little unfortunate we haven't drawn more islands. Ideally, you want your first 3 lands to be islands, that way you can Mystic Sanctuary. I wonder if opponent's playing like Spin to Win here. Alright, so let's go ahead and Treasure Hunt. Found another Treasure Hunt. We'll go ahead and drop Irrigated. Actually, I found a bunch of Steam Vents, huh? You wanna ideally choose cards to discard. So you want to ideally be discarding. I have plenty of islands at this point, so you want to ideally be discarding cards that cycle. You want to be holding on to your copies of Mystic Sanctuary, your islands, and oh crap! I need a white source, huh? I should have played one of these taps as a white source. It's fine. I can play this tap as a white source. We don't have a Zenith Flare yet anyways. It'll be fine. J-Dubs, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hopefully we find Hallowed Fountain perfect. So now we can do this. Draw a bunch of cards. And hey, look, there's a Zenith Flare. So Zenith Flare is currently hitting for 7. I'm going to go ahead and shock in this Hallowed Fountain. So we're going to keep Zenith Flare, and then we're going to keep some 1-mana cyclers so we can cycle those manually when we discard. Okay, so we'll end the turn, ditch these. Again, just want to prioritize discarding things that cycle. Do it right? Did it mostly right? Is that 15? Not quite there yet. The UI is 100% the real opponent. Yep. We might get Ulamog this turn. Oh, not quite. If they have to use this. Alright, just Whirl of Virtuous, so sure. Okay, so I think in the interest of bonking them, we just go ahead and we do this. And then we play Mystic Sanctuary and put it back on top. Yep, yeah, we just shoot them and then we pick it up. Exactly, it's exactly correct, so. And then if they have counter spells, I get 2 do-overs here. Alright. Ulamog me, daddy. Yeah, get dead. Fire the laser. This deck's actually pretty resilient to counter spells because of Mystic Sanctuary, which is funny. Against a mid-range creature deck like what our opponent's playing, I don't think we do anything here. I think we just click submit. Blue Lane's treasure hunt, keep, chat. Backup treasure hunt, you love to see it. Cody, thank you for the almost 2 years of support and the tier 2. Welcome back. Ooh, we got a Mystic Dispute. Glad we drew a second one like a professional. Sometimes lucky, chat. And even if our opponent had successfully countered our thing there, it's important to note that, like, we would have been able to, just, like, start hopping on our bicycle and riding here. Actually, let's discard the, No, Cardboard Live should be loaded. Refresh your stream if you're having an issue with it. Twitch tells me Cardboard Live is active. Huh. Wow, this is actually, quite unfortunate here. Not only did we hit Zenith Flare super early, but we also didn't find any copies. We also didn't find any copies of what's it called? Our other card that lets us put things back on top of our deck. Yeah, no Mystic Sanctuary is a huge... Normally you bank on hitting one of those two things. I think I like this layout better. The two ad bars top left cover their lands a little bit, which might not be ideal. Oh, it lets me click more than I can need to discard. Got it. Okay. I was like, wondering what's going on there. We make the ad bars transparent. No, that's a breach of contract. So I can put them in the middle though, and cover the pet. That probably works. Sorry, little cat. Probably fine. Is that me being silly or something you've ran into? I mean, you're not playing this deck that we're playing to be hyper competitive, Goldilocks. That's not why you're doing what you're doing. You have four Nullhide Ferox to mulligan 2 post board. Like that plan's real. Well, real. I use the term real loosely. Yeah, no sanctuary in 26 cards is rough. We're not actually, like, if they don't have a counterspell here, we're not just dead either. Like, I get to go ahead and bink bonk them with this next turn, which buys us a turn. And maybe that turn lets us find the things. We get to, like, pedal our bicycle while we do that as well. And they could have a counterspell here. If they do, we are unfortunately going to be dead. Decks that have counter spells plus a clock are good against us for sure. Alright, if they don't have counter spells, they're actually dead next turn, right? With this draw, next turn I get to play Sanctuary, put this on top, cycle into it, kill them. Genesis Ultimatum is a fun direction to take this archetype because it works well with Ulamog and it finds your marvels. I like that. It's a sweet direction to take the deck in. Okay, feels like they drew a counterspell, but again, we're dead next turn, so ain't playing around that. Good dispute you're up. And they drew 5 extra cards there, right? So pretty likely to find a counterspell. And Tricks, thanks for the 13 months, by the way. Welcome back. I'll go ahead and click submit. Little bit unfortunate there, and still came down to the wire with the opponent finding the counterspell on the last turn. And like, if your opponent, like, this deck's actually pretty reasonable against blue-white control, for example, because they have counterspells, but they don't actually pressure you while they're counterspelling you. Alright, and sometimes you roll very low and mulligan, God, 7, what are the odds? Does anybody have the math on that? What are the odds of not finding your 4 of in 7 card hands? Like, you'll often have to mulligan as low as, like, 2 or 3. But, like, because of the London mulligan, this deck's really functional on a 2-card hand. You keep, like, blue land treasure cruise and you're good to go. We're going to bottom these, again, prioritizing keeping islands in our hand for Mystic Sanctuary. You ideally want your first 3 land drops to all be islands, so you can Mystic Sanctuary as early as 4. This card doesn't impact us at all. You don't really have to worry about finding your colors. Like, I mulliganed all my red sources and I need red for Treasure Flare, but, like, this is going to draw us enough cards that should be a non-issue. See? Non-issue. I'm back to properly participate as a capitalist. Thank you for the 15 months of Mega King. All right, so... So, the one thing you need to understand is that when you play this deck, you have 2 opponents. You have the person you're currently playing against, as well as the Magic the Gathering Arena interface. And chat, Magic the Gathering Arena is now available in beta on Android. So if you want, you could play this deck on your cell phone right now. It's possible. Just open the Google Play Store and you can search for Magic Arena. And I saw the advert. It said if my phone has 4 gigs of RAM, I could play this game on my cell phone. Jeff Hoagland 1, Magic the Gathering Arena interface 0. Look at that. We kept 3 Mystic Sanctuaries, or 4 Mystic Sanctuaries, a Zenith Flare, and 2 Shocklands. Nailed it, chat. Okay, so I actually punted here. So I needed to keep a 1-mana cycle land here, because if they thought seize me, I could beat... I'd kill them this turn if I would have kept a 1-mana cycle land. So I at least kept these. These at least got kept. But if I would have kept a 1-mana cycle land, we'd cycle into this and then kill them here. So had the Magic Arena interface been better, we would have won the game this turn. Thanks for the 23 months, Kenix. Welcome back. And ideally, and this is, I don't usually believe in offering billion-dollar corporation suggestions on how they're supposed to make their shit work, but here's what should happen with Magic Arena. When your hand at end of turn is making you discard more than 7 cards, rather than making me click 42 cards to discard, you should make me click 7 cards to keep. So when my hand has 15 or more cards in it, the interface should change from select the number of cards you're discarding to select the 7 cards you're keeping. So it's a very easy fix. Yeah, or add a toggle box. So I could click a toggle box and instead choose what I want to keep 7 versus how many I want to discard if you don't want to make it automatic. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and pivot here post-board. Maybe I don't want these. Maybe we just go full hog ham. I think there's a good chance my opponent mulligans for their discard spells here. And I would like to mulligan for these. Thanks for 11 months, Staff Keep. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Keeping me around. Keep. Oh, yeah. Baby. You love to see it, chat. They even deal 2 damage to themselves, so that way your Nullhide Ferox kills them in 3. The Thoughtseize even deals 2 damage to them, so you kill them in 3. It's just the most delicious sideboard plan. Sandy Poe, thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel this morning. We're having a good time. How do you beat Thoughtseize, Jeff? Like this. This is how you beat Thoughtseize, chat. This is anti-justice. Jeff is the villain. Listen, chat. Our deck's not great, but it has a plan. I'm not saying our deck's perfect, but we've got well-defined plans. Actually, honestly, you know what? Talking about technology here for a second and thinking about it. When we board into that plan, I didn't put creature lands in here before because they're kind of expensive. But Blinkmoth's probably perfect, huh? We never board in these Bajuka Bogs. What if we do that and we board in like a castle and 4 Blinkmoth along with our Nullhides, just in case you got to get in those last couple of chip shots. This deck is very much not good, but it is great. Definitely, this is a 100% not good but great deck. And mulliganing with it is very easy. It's like almost therapeutic, where you're like, yep, this is my plan. Again, just want to play islands the first few turns, so you get to have this online. Discard 21 cards. All right, well, if I must. We're doing okay against the interface supporting. I forgot to keep I need to keep 1 mana cyclers is what I need to be able to do. Pay a little bit more attention to that. This is almost lethal already. So I want these, I think, over here. I want these plus a 1 mana cycler, ideally. Prime the laser. Oh no, not Treadhorde Butcher. Okay, chat, so their deck's the best deck in the format, and we've now beaten them, which I'm pretty sure means that we're now the best deck in the format. Thanks for 27 months, Atheist. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Now, unfortunately, you can't. This Nullhide Ferox plan is only really great against creature-heavy thoughts. It's only good against creature-light Thoughtseize decks. So here, I believe we're just clicking submit, I think is my plan. How does this deck beat Tier Guard? Yes, yeah, this deck really doesn't care about Grafdigger's Cage. Which is nice. Our opponent went to 5. Do we think our opponent has a Thoughtseize? I'm gonna go down one more time. But honestly, I think on a hand like this, I'm going to keep and just blank their Thoughtseize. Well, we were trying to avoid getting this discarded, but it is what it is. Oh. Well. And now we can beat Thoughtseize, because we have Mystic Sanctuary and Cycle Lanced. So, little interface thing you'll note here. I clicked here to put a stop on my main phase, which means that it won't cut to my end of turn, which lets me rearrange the cards in my hand. So the way to manage the interface with this deck, in my experience, is you want to put the 7 cards you want to keep on the left side, and then you could just start on the right and click one at a time, slowly going over and over and over. So that way you don't have to, like, fumble back and forth in between. Again, prioritizing putting all islands into play to start. Yeah, this is not a deck you will have a good time with if you're not familiar with Arena's interface. So we know Flare's in the bottom of our deck because we mulliganed it there. Almost on the bottom. Actually, when I mulliganed, if you noted, I explicitly made sure to make sure the Flare was not the very bottom card, so this could happen. So we need to discard 28 cards. Again, making sure to keep Mystic Sanctuaries and at least some number of 1-mana cycling cards. So I'm keeping a Lonely Sandbar here and Mystic Sanctuaries. Okay, I believe I kept Zenith Flare Sanctuary Sandbars. Yeah, perfect. So I mastered the interface that time. Nice tier 1 deck. And again, had they had a Thoughtseize on this last turn, you can play Mystic Sanctuary, put it on top of your deck, cycle draw it. Bing bong, bing bong. For people wondering if this deck and the matches we're running this morning are a fluke, they're not. This deck is hyper consistent. It has the ability to play through counter spells. You can punk people with Thoughtseize with Nullhide Ferox like we showed in one of the earlier matches. This is not our first time playing this deck on stream. This was one of the decks we played with some frequency back before I took my magic break, when Historic looked a little different. Yes, ley lines are bad for us. Obviously. I agree, this deck is a delight. Okay, so I want Treasure Hunt, and I want Mystic Sanctuary, and I want Hallowed Fountain, and I want Island, and I probably want the Lonely Sandbars. Oh my god! Is it rearranging the cards in my hand as I drag them around? Holy shit, this interface. It is, right? How did these two end up back over here? I put them on the left, right? I'm gonna have to go back and watch the tape and see what happened there, but it definitely relocated cards in my hand as I was clicking through them there, trying to sort the ones I didn't want to discard to the left. This deck is definitely playing Arena on hard mode. There's no doubt about it. So I think we keep our untapped land here and then discard these other two. Maybe I'm supposed to play around a Field of Ruin on our red source is very possible. This is only at 14, which is a little unfortunate. Okay, we gotta discard 25 cards. We're probably out of basics. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Fuck, I miss keeping a 1-mana cycler. We're gonna probably end up losing this game because I didn't keep the 1-mana cycler. It's really, really frustrating. This island needed to be a 1-mana cycler, but I just couldn't see what cards were in my hand. Or not? Okay. Did they not realize what we were doing? Did they not? They must not have realized what we were doing, huh? Bonk, bonk. Do I expect... Do we pivot? They're a blue-black deck. Do we expect Thoughtseize, right? Now the question is, they're on counter spells as well. So do I board in Ceratops as well, or do we try and just Nullhide them? Feels like they could mulligan for counter spells as well. I don't know, let's try just Nullhide for this game and see how it goes. Nullhide, Blinkmoth, Castle. It's another reason to pivot. You know, if they don't discard spell me here, I might concede and hide the fact that we moved to creatures. Like if they just sit here and just like hold up counter spells. So do I want to give up that we're on Nullhide Ferox? I don't think that I do. I think I'm just gonna concede and board in the Ceratopses as well. We'll just go for the full creature plan. It's okay to board out lands in this deck, chat. For in case anybody's wondering. Usually you don't want to sideboard out too many lands. It's okay to cut some lands with your sideboard plan in this deck. Thanks. So you can right-click here to see entered the battlefield this turn, so we want to animate the one that did not enter the battlefield this turn. Wow, they left a Fatal Push in post-board. Interesting. I guess they don't have enough cards to cut. Obviously should have mulliganed harder on the Ferox plan, chat. Our real mistake was not mulliganing harder on the Ferox plan. Now, the appeal of playing the Vampires deck in this current format is that it's a deck that... The appeal of playing the Vampires deck is that it's an interactive creature deck, Hidden Flame. So Vampires isn't a very good linear, just flood the board with creatures deck. Oh, that's true. They saw the Companion, so they leave Fatal Push in for that. That makes sense. Ooh, I should have been prioritizing playing more green sources out, probably, huh? Jacker, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel today. I think I just play a green source tapped and pass here and plan to get a couple of cycles in. I guess there's value in playing this out to not be exposed to Thoughtseize. So I am gonna wait because they have this Mazemind Tome in play. So, with Mazemind Tome in play, my opponent has a way to trigger Revolt next turn when this leaves, and I'd rather they not have a way to trigger Revolt to get rid of this with Fatal Push if they still have copies of that. I wonder if we're supposed to leave, like, some copies of Zenith Flare in our deck post-board in games like this. I'm gonna play out this Secluded Steppe because we have Castle here and we want more white mana for it. That's rude.
Past, present, and future. But I have just the trick for this.
So if they have a way to tempo this again, they get to shuffle our hand back into our deck and then draw 7 cards here. Because of a Narset. They have Fatal Push, they could use the Mazemind Tome to trigger it. Sweet. Play this castle out just in case they decide to Wheel of Fortune next turn. Honestly, it might be right to have even more castles in the sideboard. I'm not sure the second Zenith Flare is good. The second Zenith Flare might be better as second castle. I think we played this out just in case they decide to try and field us off a green source. So they have a gain 4 in the bank. So if they get if they find a sweet, if they have like a languish or something in their deck still, they could maybe get out of this. Yeah, nice, sweet. Yeah, I agree, Ellie. Like this deck, this deck is way more real than it looks when you look at the deck list. Like you look at your deck list, you're like, okay, this is just stupid bullshit. It's not a real deck. But then like you see how the games actually play out. Yeah, it has no right to be as good as it is. Yeah, honestly, I think this is just the sideboard I want. Are there other can't be countered? Are there can't be countered threats we could play? I don't think we cast red consistently enough, right? Maybe? I have 8, 16. I have 20 red sources. You have a companion is the reason why you only see. Nah, I don't think Banefire is very good. I think I'm into this suggestion. I think I'm into this suggestion. Man, we need Loxodon Smiter in this format. So that way we can have 8 cards to mulligan to against Thoughtseize decks. So we can have just a bunch of if you make me discard this. Oh wait, is there another one? Is there a white? There's a white enchantment that punishes people for making you discard it too, right? What does it do? There's some kind of a Johnny card that punishes people for discard spelling you. What is it? Does anybody know what the text on that is? A Johnny's Last Stand? I don't remember what it does. Walker M, thank you for the 13 months. Welcome back. Sung, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Makes a 4/4. Your spell and ability to put a control card, you discard this card. If you control a planes, create a 4/4. Okay, so the if you control a planes is problematic there. Yeah, if you control a planes, I don't think is likely enough. Yeah, Loxodon Smiter, or actually, Loxodon Smiter would be perfect, because it's a can't be countered threat, and it's an anti-discard threat. Alright, that's my #1 wish list card now for the next historic anthology. I would like Loxodon Smiter for the Treasure Flare sideboard. I'm aware this is a plains, but you're pretty unlikely to have exactly this one of. Oh, the Hexproof. We're already playing that card, Walker. I want more than 4. Yeah, like this, right? We mulligan to 3. We mulligan to 3, and we kept land, Treasure Flare. Mulligan to 3 up to this many. Yes, the planes requirement also means when you're on the draw and they Thoughtseize you, you don't get a thing, which is important. Mind Stone resolves. Man, our hits are really bad here. Again, we're 15 cards into our deck with no Mystic Sanctuary, which sucks. Am I supposed to shock so I can cycle? I can't anyways, right? Oh, Loxodon doesn't fit Orphanguard. That's fine. We can play a different companion. Okay, so again, I want to keep Mystic Sanctuaries, an Island, and then 1 mana Cyclers. I actually haven't played a land yet, right? So that means I don't need this island, actually. Oh no, I spent so much time starting my hand, we're going to time out it at the turn. And this is the problem. This deck hits the end of turn so quickly, you don't get a chance to, you hit end of turn so quickly, you don't get a chance to build up timeouts. So, like, that timer's going already, and, like, I don't have a timeout stored, right? And, like, I'm moving at a decent pace. It's just the Magic Arena interface is going to screw me. Yeah, see? Now we fucking lose the game because the Magic Arena interface is dog shit. It discarded every single copy of... It discarded every single copy of Mystic Sanctuary. Every single copy. So, like, we're actually 0% to lose this game, basically. Our opponent would have to have 5 hard counters in a row. But now we lose because the arena interface killed us. We get to try out the sideboard plan at least, I guess. Very, very frustrating, though. It's not, and again, it's not like I was moving slowly there. The interface is just bad. Yeah, it should again pop up and then show me, Jeff, here's your hand, pick 7 cards you want to keep. Yes, it should just tell me to keep 7. It's exactly correct. All right, so again, don't worry about the match record. Our actual record will be better than the actual record, than the win rate. The actual rate will reflect because of things like the arena interface being god-awful 4 years in. How does discarding a huge number of cards work on Moto? I have no idea. Sure, yeah, that would work too. There's like 100 different ways they could. And here's the funny part is the interface is actually better. Than. Yeah, they could also even just do the simple thing of giving you more timer based on the number of cards in your hand. Like how easy would that be? That's gotta be trivial, right? Like, okay, maybe creating a new interface that's like cleaner or like making me pick 7 to discard, but like, yeah, bump the rope every time you pick a card. Like, just do something that makes it so... like, you're clear... I'm clearly taking game actions when I time out there, right? Yeah. Thanks for the 23 months, so it's cool. Yeah, we lost an unlosable game because Arena timed us out while we were taking game actions. Oh, you know what? I probably should have played this while they were tapped out, because this can be countered, and then I could have played this as a follow-up when they have a counterspell available. Wasn't Flare on top of my library? My opponent's deck had a bunch of counterspells. They literally had a Saw It Coming face down. So, like, yeah, it was technically on top of my deck, but, like, my opponent's deck has a ton of counterspells in it. So, like, the way you're guaranteed to beat counterspells is we would have been able to, they would have needed to have 5 counterspells in a row to beat us in the last game, which was very unlikely.
Sorry,
and on the off chance they did have 5 counterspells in a row, they would have beaten us. But, like, statistically, we were going to win that game if the interface doesn't discard all our copies of Mystic Sanctuary. Kill Teferi.
This is hardly my worst.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, Alec. Like, it's almost more offensive that the Treasure Flare interface doesn't work, because Treasure Flare was a card that they explicitly added to Historic. So it's not even like it's a standard card, right? It's like they actively were like, this is an effect we want in the format, and then we don't have an interface that makes it reasonable to play with. Draw Chandra here. Cast out is cheating, please stop. Yeah. The fun part about this deck is they can't be countered cards that we're boarding in. We're pretty likely to draw them because we have so much cycling.
You show remorse, I'll show restraint. Let's take it back a step.
It's not terrible. Hey, me. Thank you for the 13 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm shocking in this Steam vents here because 1, our life total doesn't matter, and 2, their deck play sensor. This Twitch stream is pre-recorded in front of a live audience.
No time for a break.
Devo, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. We want to kill their Teferi.
long do you want to wait for?
Cycling these down in case we draw another Ferox while they're tapped out. Man, we are running hot today, chat fam. Just the hottest. Nothing but stone cold cold shots here. Robbed Gamer, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hey, thanks for the tip, Seth. It's very generous of you. And what do you got? What do you got for me today? Mono green search of greatness. A search for some greatness. That sounds lovely. I'd be happy to do that. Nice commentary on your VOD, Jeff. You won't fool us. Yikes. Okay, so we have to draw Chandra. We have to draw Chandra. I think we're dead. So it's unfortunate the interface screwed us out of game one. It looks like we're gonna lose this one, unfortunately. No Lady Chandra in the top 26 cards. All right, let's play one more. Hopefully not get got by the interface this time through. Seth, did you just send me a best of one deck? I assume you're in chat. Is this a best of one deck? Because if it's not a best of one deck, our sideboard should definitely have some actual cards in it and not 15 tutors. 15 tutor targets. It's a cat and mouse game with open deck lists, and your opponent knowing what your plan is. There's value in them knowing what you're doing and then you doing it or not doing it depending. Hey, Dontron, thanks for the sub gift. Morning to you. Yeah, in paper, you'd shuffle all 15 in and then cut some number of them, and then cut 15. Hey, a deck list for the KHMPT, should I play this? I genuinely think this deck is reasonable, Brandon. You will win plenty of games just by virtue of your opponent's decks not interacting on appropriate axis with you. Should you play this at the PT? I'm gonna tell you no, so that way if you do, you can't blame me. So I would like the record to reflect I'm telling you no, you should not play this at the Pro Tour. But I'm also saying you probably should play this at the Pro Tour. You take that information and do with it what you will. Also, no joke, low-key the biggest reason not to play this at the Arena Pro Tour is the Magic Arena interface. It's not power level considerations. You will definitely lose games because the interface is garbage. Guaranteed. Like, I've played this deck a lot, and the interface still manages to screw up in new and interesting ways to throw me for loops. Like here, this treasure hunt was all the way over here because I'm sorting my hand to the left, and it keeps putting the treasure hunt in the middle of my fucking hand. Because the interface is actually just doing shit at random. Why does it keep moving this treasure hunt to the middle of my hand? We'll never know. But then that's a new bug, actually. That's a new bug. Because you used to be able to sort all your cards down to the left. So that way you could very easily click through them and know that you're not discarding things you might want to keep. But you can't sort your cards to the left anymore because Magic Arena shuffles your hand up and discards it and moves them around at random now. About to get Bajuka Bog, chat. We're not going to beat a Game 1 Bog, chat. Agent Z, thank you for the sub gifts. Good morning. That's not a Bajuka Bog. And again, making sure to keep Mystic Sanctuary, Lonely Sandbar here, so that way if they Thought Seize me next turn, we go Sanctuary, put Flare on top, cycle into Flare, cast Flare, kill you. We're going to go ahead and pivot into our sideboard plan here of instead of mulliganing for Treasure Hunt, we mulligan for Nullhide Ferox. We'll also board in some Blinkmoths as an extra. As our opponent is likely to mulligan for Thoughtseize. You pull the cards over to the right. I don't know. Moving them to the left is more efficient because of the way the cards pop up. And we were through our entire deck at that point. Oh, you know what? There's a chance that they're not a Thoughtseize deck. Some of these blacklists don't play enough black cards to play Thoughtseize. There's a chance this plan is bad here. And that we'll want to pivot for the next game. Yeah, if you thought on the sideboard a little bit, that'd be fine to send it over again. I've got Discord up. Now, they definitely have a color, Coons. The Spires and the Aether Hubs are here because they're splashing a color. Usually it's black. So you're right that they're mostly colorless ramp. We played this deck on stream earlier this week. So, like, they're mostly colorless ramp. It's Ugin ramp, but, like, we played a build that had Thoughtseize in the sideboard, for example. Like, if we go this whole game without seeing a Thoughtseize, I'm gonna turn back into our game one plan for the second game. Ooh, they do have Scavenger Grounds. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that we beat Ugin, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna stick to the game one plan here. Alright, I discard 26 cards. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2. Well, and so the best part about recent Magic Arena games is you don't have to wonder how this deck plays on mobile chat. You can load this deck up on your cell phone right now and play it. They are a Thoughtseize deck. It's fine. It's funny that we drew that, but I would like the record to reflect that we had Mystic Sanctuary cycle into it. I would like the record to reflect that we didn't have to get lucky there. It's funnier that we did, but I would like the record to reflect that it was not necessary. We didn't have to, but swag demanded we did. Yeah, exactly. Alright, and they're dead. Alright, I'm gonna be done with this deck, not because it's not awesome and fun, but because the Magic Arena interface is kind of wearing on me. I can only play this deck so long before I have an entire... Hey, what's going on, Uncle Jeff? Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with our board plans. I think the Chandra Blinkmoth sounds good. Just boarding in these 14 cards against counterspells sounds lovely. The Nullhide Feroxes against Thoughtseize decks is really funny. If you didn't see it, we got to have a turn 0 Nullhide Ferox earlier in the set, which was great. So, you know. All right, so deck voting is getting pushed back by democracy. So